everybody. Shenoah Grove here with Texas REIAs. Welcome everybody. So we get a lot of folks who are live with us. We also have some folks who are online with us. So I appreciate you guys coming to be here with us in person. You didn't know you're going to be part of our live studio audience, but appreciate you guys all being here. We meet every Tuesday in Austin, Houston, Dallas, or San Antonio. And we talk about real estate investing, and we have folks who are watching us online as well as obviously the folks that are in person here. So just want to welcome all of you guys as you've joined us here tonight. Excited to be able to share some tribal knowledge with you all to make sure that you are successful as part of your business. And going to share with you the things that have allowed us to not just survive, but ultimately thrive no matter what the market has thrown at us. And since we've been investing for just about 20 years now, I think we've seen a couple of things that the market has thrown at us. So some of the best of times, some of the worst of times, some of the longest stretches of flat times, and what I'll call the last two and a half years, which has kind of been an upside down time, right? And it's getting a little bit more upside down, I think, every day. We've got a lot of things that are coming at us in the real estate market, whether it's changes in the interest rate, whether it is labor shortage, whether it is shortage when it comes to materials, right, supplies, and all of these things are coming to hit us and slow us down and present some challenges to us. So we're going to share with you all the different things that we've done over the years to be able to survive no matter what the challenge has been, and share that with you guys so that you all have an idea of how to tackle these challenges. A lot of people have come up to me and said, is the market over? Is this last 10-year run, is that all there is? I'm not sure if any of you guys are thinking about that, but we've had a 10-year run of an up market. Most markets turned around in about 2012 from the Great Recession. And a typical market cycle is 3 to 5 years up and then 1 to 3 years down. So we've been way out of what I would call a typical market cycle in terms of what we've seen over the course of the last year. Over the course of the last 10 years, and especially over the course of the last year. But we need to be expecting even some more changes that will be hitting us, and we need to be ready to dodge all of those hits to be able to make sure, again, to survive. So if you guys are interested in becoming a real estate investor, we're going to teach you the skills that you need to know to invest today, but we're also going to teach you the skills that we've built up to be able to, again, survive whatever the market throws at you. So welcome everyone, and excited to have you on with us. I know when you guys checked in, you joined our social medias, but if you did not, I'd love to have you follow us on our Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube. And we also have podcasts as well. So we recognize some of you guys might be listen to it in different formats. So for me, I'm not necessarily a YouTuber, even though we have a YouTube channel, but I'm more of a podcast person. So I like to listen while I'm driving. I like to listen while I'm working out. I like to listen while I'm walking. But however you like to get your information, we've got a way for you all to be able to do that and to be able to grow with us. One of the big things that we focus on is focusing on this market here in Texas. So we know just about everything there is about Texas in terms of investing and in terms of the law. So what we've found is those who are a little bit more sophisticated, a little bit more educated, are going to do better when it comes to understanding what is allowed and what is not allowed. For us, we use also the TREC contract. Is everyone familiar with the contract to use? Anyone not familiar with the contract to use? If you're not familiar with the contract to use, you'll want to use the TREC contract. Now, for some of you guys, it might be a little bit intimidating because it is an 11-page contract, and there's probably about 85 different blanks that you're going to have to fill in over the course of those 11 pages. But I will tell you, don't let that intimidate you. This is the best contract out there for you. It is designed to protect both the buyer and the seller. It is designed to be impartial, even though there's about 60 different ways for a buyer to exit out of the contract. It's still best it can be designed to be impartial and also to accommodate all of the different things that happen. So it's case law tested literally every day, and about every other year they do an update to the TREC contract just to make sure that they include all of the different things that have been notated in the new cases and the new laws. So feel free to grab that one. Just Google the TREC website, TREC. It stands for Texas Real Estate Commission. That's where you'll be able to pull the contracts. You might get a little confused if you're new at this. So there's about 5 contracts that are out there. There's a TREC 1, 2, 4 family. There's a TREC condo, there's a TREC unimproved land, there's a TREC new construction, there's a TREC farm and ranch, and there may even be one other one there. So there's a lot. So if you are buying and selling just single family houses up to a duplex, up to a 3-plex, up to a 4-plex, then you can use that TREC 1 to 4 family contract. So, and it will cover you in just about every situation that will hit you, if you will. So just be aware of that too. And for us as real estate investors, we use what we call the 70% of ARV, or maximum allowable offer formula, the 70% of ARV minus repairs. So this is something that I want to make sure you guys are aware of as you are investing. A lot of people don't know how to formulate an offer correctly. A lot of times they'll just say, well, I'm buying it for 300, or I'm buying it at 300, it needs $50,000 in repairs. Anything that I sell it above 350, I'm making money. And that's not the case at all, because here in Texas, we have closing costs on the buy, we have closing costs on the resale, and then we also have holding costs all the way through. And even though in Texas we don't have a state income tax, Texas, what do we have instead? Property taxes, right? Property taxes. So just know that those are there. Know that those will find you during your time that you own that property. So when we look at this formula, I want to make sure you know where all of the money goes. So typically when you use that formula, you make somewhere between 10 to 15% of your ARV, which stands for after repair value. 10 to 15% of your ARV is what you make if you follow that formula. You make on the 15% side if you're using all of your own funds to be able to purchase the property and to do the renovation. If you're using a hard money lender, for example, your profits are going to be closer to about 10% of the ARV, just because the hard money lender typically takes about 5% of the ARV in their points as well as in their monthly interest fees for you. But don't worry. Some people will say, well, I don't want to use hard money, it's too expensive. Listen, it's not what it costs you, it's what ultimately it makes you, right? So please focus on that. Now, if you say, and if you're telling me instead the reason why you don't want to use hard money is because the deal no longer works if you use hard money, what have you just told me and hopefully yourself if you're listening? It may not be a great deal, right? It means you're probably overpaying for it if you can't afford to pay that hard money payment. And if a hard money lender has said, I'm not going to fund your deal, what have they told you? You don't have a good deal, so you need to go back to renegotiate that, all right? So I know a lot of people, probably a lot of people in this room, you guys have done well in your life. You probably have a lot of money saved up. And what I see when I interact with people who are brand new at this but have saved up their money working hard in an industry that they are an expert at is that they will sometimes make their decisions on what to purchase without getting any guidance from anyone else. So I will tell you this, if I can offer you guys some free coaching, even if you have the money, right? Even if you've saved up $500,000 to invest in real estate, take your deal to a hard money lender and ask them, will you fund this deal? Because are they going to give you some of the best free coaching and free advice you've ever had? This is the interactive part. I can literally hear you breathing, even over the air conditioning system. Are they going to give you some great advice? The answer is yes. So please, if you're brand new to this, get coaching. Get coaching from a hard money lender who's going to tell you right away whether or not you have a good deal. Always do sort of warn as well, there's something I like to call the hard money lender decoder ring. So if they tell you, I'll fund it, but I need you to bring $40,000 to the closing table, what have they told you? You don't have a good deal, and they want to risk shift to you because they don't want They don't want to go above a certain loan to value ratio. They don't want to go above a certain loan to value ratio. So just bring your hard money lender decoder ring with you at all times. And even if you have your own money, take your deal to either an expert, someone who's done a lot of deals, or just take it simply to a hard money lender and ask them, hey, what do you think about this deal? Would you fund this for me? You're going to get some great free coaching. And a lot of times if you're dealing with wholesalers, a lot of these hard money lenders who look at a lot of deals will say, oh, this is from so-and-so, the wholesaler. Yeah, that's not a deal. And literally I have had to tell, oh, this is a heartbreaking thing to have to say to a brand new investor, and that is, how many of you guys have met someone who's trying to wholesale you a deal? Any of you guys met with wholesalers? Any of you guys? Maybe, okay, maybe so, okay. So typically they'll ask you for about a $5,000 non-refundable deposit. So imagine, and so I'm a licensed realtor and broker, so what am I going to do when someone brings me a deal? I'm going to go and see what the comps are. I'm going to go and see what the real comps are. Let me define that a little bit better. And I'm also going to go and see what the real repair estimate is to get to that high level of comps that I'm looking to resell it at. And I've literally had to tell some investors that $5,000 deposit, walk away from it, because you will lose less money if you walk away from that $5,000 non-refundable deposit than you will if you take that deal all the way to the finish line. You're going to lose significantly more. Welcome to real estate investing. That's heartbreaking, right? To have that be your first lesson as a real estate investor, where someone told you that a deal is worth this and it's really worth this, and someone told you that the repairs are down here and they're really up here. And then you realize, if I take this project to the finish line, I will lose money on it. Now, what's one of the great ways to be able to make up for overpaying for a property? I'm glad this is the one time that I'm so thrilled that you guys are completely silent, because the truth is there is no way to recover when you overpay for a deal, okay? But here's what people think. Here's what people think, and I want to make sure none of you guys are thinking this. The scenario that goes to their mind is, well, if I do all the work myself, I'm going to save all of this money by not hiring a contractor, right? Is that true? Why is that not true? Yeah, so Ed has it exactly right. It won't be finished on time is one of the number one things. So, and time is money, especially when you have high holding costs, property taxes, insurance, utilities, hard money or private money payments if you're paying money on it, or even credit card payments, right? So every time, and I've met so many investors over the last 20 years who have said, I'm doing it myself, so I'm saving money. You might be saving a little bit of money, but you might be burning all of your time. So you're a break even, right? On the saving time and saving money piece, or the losing time and saving money piece. The other thing I find is, gosh, I mean, let me just do a quick check real quick. Temperature is 100. It's 6:10 p.m. I know all of you guys are thinking, let's go outside, and or let's work inside of a house that doesn't yet have air conditioning. That sounds like it's going to be a blast, right? And then you kind of like, you do like 30 minutes worth of work, and you're like, okay, this isn't working out, right? So that's one of the reasons why it takes you longer too. And in Texas, I'm curious, how many people just moved here in the last like 5 years or so, last couple of years or so? Okay, a couple of you guys. So how many of you guys just moved here like in the last year? Okay, all right, so first off, welcome Texas. Where'd you move here from? Hawaii. Okay, perfect. This is gonna really work for you. So in Hawaii, it's a cold front when the temperature goes below 78. It's freezing. And it's a heat wave when the temperature goes above 82, right? That's what Hawaiians, like that's the Hawaiian mentality. So in Texas, in Hawaii you have kind of one season, right? Between 78 and 82, right? The winter and the summer, right? So in Texas, though, we actually have 5 seasons. So we have a regular winter, we have a regular spring, we have a regular summer, and then we get a bonus season called super summer. Super summer is when every day it's above 100 degrees for multiple days in a row. Right now, Angelina, we are in the middle of super summer. So it's the time of like, it's like, it may be sunset and it's still 100 degrees, right? So sometimes what happens with new investors is they're like, or whether they're experienced Texas heat or not, right? They just don't want to go outside. So again, that's one of the reasons why things get slowed down. The other issue is, what are you thinking? Like, I watched a YouTube video on how to, do sheetrock, and I watched a YouTube video on how to lay tile. So like, give me some mortar and give me some grout and put me in there, right? I got a tile cutter. Like, this is going to work out great. And then how does it work out? It works out like an IKEA project, right? It's like you're always missing some screws or something's not going on right, but you have this pride about it. Well, that pride doesn't necessarily show up in the sales price. Now, are you also aware of all of the code requirements, right? And the permitting requirements? And the answer is no. Then you're going to go round and round and round with the city, and that's not going to be fun either. So you think you're going to save money when you overpay by doing it yourself, but in reality you save no money. And the only thing that sometimes will help you is when the market saves you. How many of you guys have done a project and said, I wasn't going to make money, but the market saved me, right? So that's a wonderful strategy. Said no one, ever, right? Is depending on luck gonna work out for you when the market's flat? Is depending on luck gonna work out for you when the market is down? No, it's not. So as real estate investors, we make our money on the buy. If we buy it right, we're gonna make a ton of money if we manage that project correctly and manage it on time. If we don't buy it right, we're going to be trying to dig ourselves out of this hole for the entire time, and then the market will sometimes save you, but the other times, and I think we're going into a time possibly where the market's, that philosophy is not going to work out. So guys, please know your numbers. This is really critical in order to be successful as a real estate investor. And I'm curious, is there anyone in here that's actively working on a deal right now, actively talking with the seller right now? Anybody? Anybody? Ed, Jonathan, you're working on the commercial deal. Jonathan, what are you working on?
I'm working on just a single property.
Single property. I have a microphone over there. Would you guys give Jonathan a warm round of applause so he feels comfortable coming up to this microphone? Yeah. No pressure, Jonathan. Now's good. Yeah, well, let's talk about your property.
Well,
I can't hear you. I know, that's why there's a microphone over here. Yeah. 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 Yes, a round of warm applause. Yeah, some people need 2 pushes. I appreciate you guys for recognizing that. Jonathan, what are you working on?
I'm working on a single property.
Yvette, will you tap on the mic just to make sure it's on? Yvette, will you just turn on the mic over there just real quick for me? So we want to hear what you're saying, Jonathan. So Jonathan said he's working on a single property, but he's new, so that's okay. So tap it again. All right, wonderful. All right, so there we go. Now we're cooking with gas. All right, fantastic. So tell me where you're at in the process.
Right now, I'm working on getting the property under contract.
Okay, so tell me how you found the deal.
I got a lead list.
A lead list, okay,
yes.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
I did mass text.
Did some texting?
Yes,
okay,
and
yeah.
that's how I found the seller.
And then the seller said what to your text? What was their answer?
She actually had another house that she was selling, but that one had already sold, so she wanted to sell another property, and then we started discussing that one.
Oh, so she sold another property that an investor missed out on because the investor didn't ask what question? Have anything else you want to sell?
Yeah.
I mean, could that have been their next project? For sure. So, but you got it. I love it. So, so you're calling about one house, you got another. Tell me what the numbers look like.
Right now, the ARV is looking at 202,000.
202. Okay.
Yes.
And what are the repairs looking like?
The repairs, they're looking at. To be honest, I'm kind of barely going through that stage of looking at the repairs and everything. But she wants 125 for it.
So I'm just doing the math for you real quick.
Okay.
202 times 70% is 141.4.
Okay.
And then if she wants 125, then that means your max renovation budget is $16,400.
For repairs?
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you guys think about that? It better be a brand new house. Right? 16,400 is going to get you paint and flooring.
Right.
It's not going to get you a new roof, new air conditioning system, new water heater, new plumbing, new electrical, new windows, new doors, new kitchens, new bathrooms. So how old is it?
I have to look it up.
Roughly.
I have it on my, but roughly it's like 19. I think it was in the 1950s.
I'm stoked. I'm stoked it's in the 1900s. Like, this is already looking up.
It was in the 1950s. Yeah.
Okay, what do we know about a 1950 house? It's going to need a lot more than $16,400 worth of work. So what does that mean for you? What's your job, Jonathan?
To renegotiate.
Renegotiate. Okay. How are you going to do that?
Well, first I have to find out the repairs more.
Yeah.
And I have yet to see the property. I've only verified through pictures and.
Okay.
But I have yet to go myself to look at the property.
So what are the words that you need to say as a real estate investor while you're on the phone to get an idea of what the repairs are? What are the exact words you need to say? When was the house built? Okay. You should be able to pull that up online, right?
Yes.
Yeah. How big the house is, you should be able to pull that up online. But when you're trying to figure out what it's going to cost to repair that property, what kind of questions do you want to ask? Yes, ma'am.
What about the comps? Where are the other houses?
You want to know what the other house is, not necessarily what they're selling for, because he already has that information. 202 is the ARV, okay? But what do you want to know about those comps?
If the house is going to be worth the total.
You want to know what those other people have done inside of their properties, right? You want to know if they've updated kitchens. You want to know if they've updated bathrooms. You want to know if they've updated windows. You want to know if they've updated electrical. You want to look through all of the pictures to see what your competition looks like at 202, right? And now you know what your competition looks like. So if your competition has my favorite colors, granite and stainless steel, right? Then you need to ask, how do you ask the question? Like, what do you say when you're trying to figure out what the repairs might need to be on that property? What's the exact words you need to say? So I'm a big fan of knowing what I call the exactly what to say for the real estate investor. What it is that you'll want to say is you'll want to make the list, and I have a one-page list that I go through every time. This works over the phone just absolutely effortlessly. You ask this very one simple question. When was the last time you replaced the roof? When was the last time you updated the kitchen? When was the last time you updated the bathrooms? When was the last time you replaced the windows? When was the last time you updated, or when was the last time you replaced? Do not get trapped in asking the question, what's the condition of your property? That is a trap question that's going to get you in a lot of trouble. Why is that? Because condition of the property, is that relative? It's relative to me. My house, I think it looks pretty good. Well, did you ever meet somebody with like a lot of cats? Like a lot of cats. What do people with a lot of cats say? They always say the same thing. Well, my house does not smell like cats. And that says, yeah, right. So to them, no, it's like their problem is that they smell like cats at this point, right? So when you're asking someone the condition, just know that it's a relative question.
Right.
It's a subjective question, right? It's like, this is how I feel about it. But when you're asking when it was the last time, or you're asked when was the last time you replaced, or when was the last time you've updated, that's not subjective. That's not relative. That is objective. That is, I'm getting a number, and I'm gonna look to see, okay, you haven't updated your roof in 20 years, but all of my comps that are getting 202, they'll have brand new roofs. Okay, you haven't updated your kitchen since 1950, but all of my comps have kitchens that were updated in the last 10 years. That's what's going to give you pretty good range of what your repair budget's going to be over the phone. So my fear is that when you get there, you're going to find that, and how long has she lived there?
Well, it was their mother's house.
Oh, what do we know for sure now? Nothing's been replaced. Yeah. Nothing's been replaced. Okay, this is good.
And she passed away 10, 11 years ago, so it's been vacant.
And it's been vacant on top of that. What are we certain we know? This house is going to need a lot more. Hopefully there's no one who's been squatting there, living there, graffitiing there, using the bathroom there when there's no plumbing turned on. That's a free bonus, Jonathan. So hopefully that you won't have to encounter that. But okay. So do we like Jonathan's number, his deal right now, as it's currently negotiated?
No.
No, I hate it. Now I hate it for a fix and flip. But what might be another option for him? Felicia, what did you say? Wholesale? Who are you going to wholesale to? A fix and flip rehabber is going to spend more than $16,400. If they brought that deal to me and I already know without going in the condition of this property, what am I going to say as a fix and flip rehabber? You've got it negotiated wrong. We probably need to bring the price down another $30,000 to $50,000+, right? Okay. So as a fix and flip, if I have a way to make money off of that, no, because what did I tell you? As a fix and flip investor, if you use that 70% of ARV minus repairs formula, you're typically going to make somewhere between 10 to 15% of your ARV. 10 to 15% of 200,000 is somewhere between 20 and 30,000. But if you overbid by 20 to 30,000, what are you going to guarantee if you're a fix and flipper? You're going to lose money, and if like the clouds part and rainbow shoot out, you might break even. Is that the strategy you want to use? The clouds, opening up and rainbows coming? No, I hope not. Please don't use that. Who else might we want to wholesale it to, Felicia? Or anyone else? Who said that? A person who wants to be a landlord, right? So landlord, how are many landlords who are quote unquote investors buying properties right now? Off the MLS. And what are they playing? Full retail. So if you bring them anything that is not full retail, they're going to think you hung the moon. They're going to love you, right? So your job as a real estate investor is to find both fix and flip investors as well as find a lot of buy and hold investors. What's a great way to find a buy and hold investor to be able to buy this from you?
Well, that's the thing I'm having an issue with right now. Is since I haven't got the property under contract, I haven't looked into finding any buyers or people like that. So. Okay,
so how might he find some other landlords that he could, because this is not a wholesale deal the way it's negotiated right now to a fix and flip investor. How might he find some landlords? Any realtors in the room? Who are my realtors in the room? Okay, we have access to something called Real List, right? What can we do with the Real List? We can go and use that zip code and we can pull a list of non-owner occupants in that zip code. And if we wanted to get a little bit more clever, we might pull non-owner occupants who have bought properties in the last 5 years. So what does that tell you? They're more active investors possibly than some of the investors that may have bought 10 or 15 or 20 years ago. But know that those are in your pocket as well. But you may go to those, and what do you want to say to those folks when you go to them? When you text message them after you skip trace them?
If they're looking to buy any other property to rent, or
what do you think the message should be? What do you think the message should be? Hey brother, I noticed you got some rental properties in this neighborhood. Probably cash flowing like crazy right now, and obviously appreciating like we've never seen before. How would you like to buy an off-market wholesale deal and build up your cash flow and build up your wealth? Same neighborhood. Does that sound a little bit better? Mm-hmm. Yeah, use that message.
Right.
What's the other part of the message you want to use? I'm all about the exactly what to say. I'm all about the exactly what to say. What's the other part of the message that you want to use when you're messaging this person? P.S. If you're not in acquisition mode right now, but you're looking to sell, I'd love to talk to you as well. I've got a lot of buyers who are looking for properties in this same neighborhood. So what is your marketing now doing? I like it when my work works twice for me. So your work is doing double duty for you. Your work is both pulling maybe a list of tired landlords as well as pulling a list of landlord buyers who might look at your stinky, crappy deal, that's a technical term, and say, yeah, no, I like this because I want more rentals in this neighborhood. I already live over here. My so-and-so lives over here. Easier for me to handle and maintain. So does that give you a little help to be able to what to do?
Yes.
And then do you think your seller's more left brain? You think your seller's more right brain? Can you tell?
I can't really tell. They're older.
Okay.
Older
brain.
Yeah, they're yeah, pretty much that's what I'm dealing with right now.
Okay. So so we have closes that we use for right brainers. We have closes we use for left brainers. Usually an older brainer also fits in one of those two categories as well. So, you know, I would ask them, you know, and I would walk through the repairs on the phone, and given the repairs that are needed on this property, and given that there's so many unknowns, and does unknowns represent risk to us as investors? Yes. Right? If I were able to close next week, what's the best price you could give me? What's the best price you could give me? And just see what that number is. What do we know that the fact that it's inherited? What do we know about it? It's inherited, it's been in the family for a long time. It's probably paid off, right? It's probably paid off. So anything that's coming is just all gravy to them, right?
One thing I did forget to mention was they had it listed at 150.
They had it listed at 150 and they want to sell it to you for 125?
They had it, I'm sorry, they wanted 150. I brought them down to 125.
So in the hottest market that San Antonio has ever seen in the last year, they could not sell this thing at 150 and probably didn't get any offers even close to that. So now they're down to 125?
Yes.
Come on. You gotta work this price. This is a stinker. I mean, it's good experience,
right,
but it's a stinker. I mean, it's good experience to go through the process. Don't make it an experience where you take it all, close on it and take it all the way to the finish line. So
okay,
that will be a miserable experience, and one that you're going to be taking money out of your wallet instead of putting money into your wallet. So, and then I guess some of the other questions I might ask is, if they stick at 125, how would you feel if this house doesn't sell for another 6 months because it's priced too high? How would that feel for you? Who knows what they're going to say to that, but I'm curious. What's the other thing that we know that we could ask for potentially since they own it outright? What might we ask for as creative real estate investors? Financing, owner financing. Because is an owner going to finance it to us at a lower rate than a hard money lender is? All day long. So a typical hard money lender, you're paying 12 to 15% interest, and you're typically paying 2 to 5 points just to get the loan. Okay. Now, again, I said, free coaching, great advice. Take your deal to a hard money lender. Now you're getting the loan from a seller who's not giving you that free coaching and advice. But I'm telling you now that your project probably has somewhere between a $50,000 and $70,000 repair bid, just kind of based on everything that I've heard. So you need to work on you'll need to work on that price. Okay. And then once you get the right price, then you can go back to the well to work on the financing piece of it. So does that help?
Yes.
Does this help you guys in here? Yes. Will you give Jonathan a round of applause? Yeah, thank you. So Jonathan, thank you for being open enough to allow me to assist, and I hope that helped. And one of the things we like to do here as part of Texas REIAs is help with some coaching to make sure you guys don't make mistakes. So thank you for doing that with us. Yeah, and thank you guys for those of you who are watching online.